Hi again, it's me, Teacher Will, and welcome back to our Statistics and Probability subject. This is the part 2 video of our lesson Confidence Interval. Let's start! Okay, so first, let's review muna ang ating formula to get the confidence interval estimate of our population mean. Ayan. So, yung formula po natin ay ito po. The estimate is between our sample mean plus the margin of error and sample mean minus the margin of error. And to get naman ang length ng ating confidence interval, just get the twice of your margin of error. O di kaya is get the difference of our upper limit and the lower limit. Again, may dalawang way po tayo to compute for our margin of error. Depende po yun sa available na data po natin. Okay? So, ayan po siya. O kapag po ang available ang ating population standard deviation, always po ang gagamitin is the z-value. At ganun din po kapag greater than 30 ang ating sample size or large sample size siya by central limit theorem, gagamit na rin po tayo ng z-value. Kahit pa po hindi given ang population standard deviation. Basta greater than 30 po siya. Ang mangyayari nan, yung available na sample standard deviation na data po natin ay i-replace po natin as our population standard deviation. Yan. Pero kapag naman po less than 30 ang ating population, ang ating sample size at hindi po given ang ating population standard deviation, ang gagamitin na po natin ay ang t-value. Ayan po. So, ito na po yung margin of error natin. So let's have some examples on how we estimate the population mean using the confidence interval estimate. Again, example number 1, we are asked to compute for the margin of error of the 95% confidence interval estimate of the population mean when the population standard deviation is equal to 10 and the sample size is 25. Siyempre, para ma-identify po natin ang margin of error, kailangan po muna natin alamin kung ano ang hahanapin natin confidence coefficient. Kung ito ba ay Z or T. Para malaman po yun, ibabase po natin siya sa available data natin. Ayan. So, dito, we have population standard deviation at ang ating sample size is less than 30. Ayan. Sabi po natin kanina, as long as given. Basta given ang population standard deviation, automatic po yan. Automatic na po yan na Z ang gagamitin. Kahit less than 30 pa siya. Okay lang po kasi as long as given na po ang ating population standard deviation. So, ibig sabihin lang po yan, ang ating formula to compute for our margin of error is C alpha over 2 multiplied by population standard deviation over the square root of So, paano naman po hahanapin ngayon yung value ng Z alpha over 2? So, gagamitin lang po natin ito, yung kanina present, yung sa present po natin sa last video na table. Ito po, table 1 na to. So, identify lang po natin muna kung ano yung confidence level sa ating given na problem. So, we have here 95%. So, hanapin nyo na po yung 95%. Ayan. Bali, ang ating Z alpha over 2 is 1.96. Ayan po. So, i-multiply lang po natin. Substitute. Ayan, we have this. Okay? So, calculator nyo lang po yan idiretso. 1.96 times, open parenthesis po yan, fraction, 10 over square root of 25, close parenthesis, we have 3.92. So, bali, 3.92 is the margin of error of 95% confidence interval estimate of the population mean when the population standard deviation is 10 and n is 25. Next, example number 2 naman. Ganun din, compute the margin of error of the 90% confidence interval estimate of the population mean when the sample standard deviation is 5 and the sample size is 16. And so, una muna po, naalamin po natin kung ano po ba ang gagamitin nating confidence coefficient, kung Z or P. So, ibabase po natin yun sa available na data natin. So, ang available na data po natin is sample standard deviation at ang sample size po natin is less than 30. So, automatic, kapag ganyan po yung case, T na po yung ating gagamitin. So, yung formula po natin is T alpha over 2 times the sample standard deviation over the square root of n. Ayan. So, paano hahanapin ang T alpha over 2? So, syempre, gagamit po tayo ng T-table. Ayan. Yung T-table natin. Since 90% po siya, ang alpha po natin is 0.10. 10%. Okay? So, syempre, para makuha natin yung confidence coefficient, kukunin po natin yung alpha over 2, which is now 0.10 divided by 2. And 0.10 divided by 2 is 0.05. Ayan. So, ngayon, ang 0.05, ang hahanapin natin na area doon sa right tail natin. Ayan. Doon sa area ng right tail. Ngayon, ang kailangan naman po natin is the degree of freedom. So, ang degree of freedom is n minus 1. So, 16 minus 1 na po yan. So, that is 15. So, hahanapin na po natin ngayon sa ating T-table yung 0.05. Ayan, 0.05. And ang ating 15. Kunin po yung intersection. We have 1.753. So, ito na po yung ating confidence coefficient sa T distribution. Then, multiply natin sa 5 over square root of 16. So, compute lang po. We have 1.753 times, open parenthesis, square root of 5, square root of 5 times square root of 16. We have 2.90. So, kahit 2 decimal na lang po ha. 2.19. So, ito na yung ating margin of error. So, ganun lang po mag-compute ng ating margin of error, which is very important to get the interval estimate. Kasi yan po yung ating ima-minus or i-add sa ating sample mean. Okay? So, let's have those examples. So, ito na. Compute the 98% confidence interval estimate of the population mean given the following data. So, we have population standard deviation, 6.4, sample size 40, sample mean 42. And then we have to compute for the length of the confidence interval. Ang pinakaunang step muna is to compute for our margin of error. So, kapag magko-compute tayo ng margin of error, aalamin po muna natin kung Z or T po yung gagamitin natin. And ipabase po natin yon sa ating available data here. And kung mapapansin ninyo, given ang population standard deviation at greater than 30, so automatic, Z po ang gagamitin po natin. Let's identify the given. Yan. Population standard deviation is 6.4. The sample size is 40. Sample mean is 42. So, ang hahanapin natin isa is the Z alpha over 2. Yan. Hanapin natin ang Z alpha over 2 natin kapag 98% confidence interval po siya. So, kapag 98% daw po is 2.33. Ayan. So, kaya na natin computing yung margin of error natin. So, substitute lang po natin. Ang margin of error is Z alpha over 2 times population standard deviation over square root of n. Ayan, square root of n. So, 2.33 times 6.4 over square root of 40. 2 decimal places lang po. We have 2.36. Ayan. 2.36 ang ating margin of error. At para makuha po yung ating confidence interval estimate, we get the upper limit, sample mean plus margin of error, and the lower limit, sample mean minus the margin of error. Ayan. Compute natin. Ang mean po natin is 42. Ayan. Mean is 42 plus 2.36. Then, 42 minus 2.36. Ang lower limit is 39.64. Ang upper limit naman po ay 44.36. Ayan. So, ito na po yung ating 98% confidence. Paano po natin interpret yan? So, the population mean is within the confidence interval 39.64 and 44.36. Para naman makompute po yung length ng confidence interval natin, kukunin lang po natin yung twice ng ating margin of error. Since ang margin of error po natin is 2.36, ibig sabihin, ang length ng ating confidence interval is the twice of your margin of error, which is twice ng 2.36. And 2.36 times 2 is 4.72. So, ganun lang siya kasimpleng compute. Next example, compute the 95% confidence interval estimate of population mean. Given the following data, we have sample standard deviation 9 and the sample size 12 and the sample mean 27. Compute the length of the confidence interval. So, una po muna ay makompute ang ating margin of error. At to compute for that, kailangan natin alamin kung ano po ba ang gagamitin na confidence coefficient, Z or T. Yan. So, analyze po natin ang ating mga data. Yan. So, kung mapapansin ninyo, sample standard deviation ang given at less than pa yung ating sample size. So, therefore, automatic po yan na T ang ating gagamitin. So, T na po yung gagamitin natin dyan. So, therefore, ang kailangan po natin is T alpha over 2 multiplied to our sample standard deviation over square root of 9. So, ano po ba kasi yung mga given natin? So, ang given po natin, ang sample standard deviation is 9, ang N is 12, ang sample mean is 27. Then, of course, ang T alpha over 2 ay hahanapin po sa T table. Ang alpha po natin is 0.05 since 95% siya. Mean, i-divide po natin siya sa 2 kasi ang kailangan po natin is sa ating hanapin sa T table ay yung alpha over 2. So, ang alpha over 2 po natin is 0.05 over 2. That will give us 0.025. So, yan po yung hanapin natin sa ating T table. Then, syempre, yung degree of freedom, importante din po. Degree of freedom natin is n minus 1. Since 12 po yung n natin, ang degree of freedom is 11. So, 0.025, then 11. So, we have 2.201. So, 2.201 yung ating confidence coefficient. So, substitute na po natin. We have now 2.201 times 9 over square root of 12. Compute lang po sa calculator. So, we have 5.72. So, ang margin of error is 5.72. So, ibig sabihin, para makompute ang ating confidence interval estimate, add lang po natin, ang sample mean is 27 plus 5.72. Then, ang lower limit naman po natin is 27 minus 5.72. Sige, compute natin ang upper limit at lower limit. 32.72. At ang lower limit naman po natin is 21.28. Okay. So, ito na po yung ating 95% confidence interval estimate. Yan lang. Yan. So, computein natin yung ating length of confidence interval. Again, ang ating margin of error is 5.72. So, compute for the length. You have to get the twice of your margin of error. So, 2 times 5.72. And that is 11.44. Okay. So, ganun lang. Ayan. So, example number 5 natin. May situation naman tayo ngayon dito. A car company wants to estimate the miles per gallon rate of their new car model. It was known through experience that similar models have standard deviation of 4.5 miles per gallon. A random sample of 100 units of the new model showed a mean of 32 miles per gallon. Construct a 97% confidence interval for the population mean miles per gallon rate of the new car model. Ang goal po natin is to get the 97% confidence interval dito sa ating situation na ito. So, unang-una, ano nga ba kasing margin of error ang kukumputin natin? Z or T? So, depende po yun sa ating given na data. So, kung mapapansin nyo sa problem, meron na silang available data from their previous experiences of previous siguro research na ang standard deviation po ng population of their cars is 4.5 miles per gallon. So, ayan. Since meron na tayong available na data na population standard deviation, at kung mapapansin ninyo yung bilang ng sample natin ay 100, which is a large sample size, alam na po natin na ang gagamitin po natin is Z. So ibig sabihin, to compute for our margin of error, kailangan po natin ang Z alpha over 2 multiplied sa ating population standard deviation over square root of n. So again, identifying the given, importante po yan, na ang ating population standard deviation is of course 4.5 miles per gallon. Ayan. So, ang ating sample size is 100. 100 na sample. Itong 100 sample natin, ang mean niya daw po is 32 miles per gallon. So, ang level of confidence natin is 97%. Na confidence level. 97%. Kaya ang Z alpha over 2 natin, based dun sa ating table, yan, kapag 97%, 2.17 siya. So, i-multiply lang po natin 4.5 over square root of 100. Ang margin of error po natin is 0.98. Ayan, round off na po natin siya doon sa second decimal place. Ayan. So, sa upper limit po natin, ang mean is 32 plus 0.98. At ang sa lower limit naman po natin is 32 minus 0.98. Ano ang ating upper limit? 32.98. And, ang ating namang lower limit is 32 minus 0.98. That is 31.0. So, this is our 97 confidence interval sa ating problem na ito. Okay? So, ganun lang po siya. So, paano po natin ito i-interpret? Thus, we can say with 97% confidence that the interval between 31.02 miles per gallon and 32.98 miles per gallon contain the population mean based on 100 units of the new model's miles per gallon rate. Okay. So, ganun lang siya i-interpret. Example number 6. A printer manufacturer wants to estimate the pages per cartridge print rate of their new printer model. A random sample of 10 units of the new printer model showed a mean of 1,400 pages per cartridge with a standard deviation of 20. Construct a 98% confidence interval to estimate the pages per cartridge rate of their new printer model. So our goal is to construct a 98% confidence interval estimate. So unang step, identify natin kung ano ba yung mga available data in this problem. So, let's write the given. Ayan. So, sabi dito, 10 units. So, that is your sample. The sample size is 10. With this sample, ang mean daw po is 1,400. So that will be our sample mean, 1,400. And sabi nga, ito ding sample, ang standard deviation niya daw po is 20. So, we have a sample standard deviation of 20. Ngayon, based on this available data, paano natin mako-compute ang ating margin of error which is kailangan natin for our interval estimate. So, yan. So, based on our available data, our sample size is less than 30. Ngayon din, hindi given ang population standard deviation. So, therefore, to compute for the margin of error, we need T alpha over 2 times S over square root of n. Ayan. So, ibig sabihin, kailangan po nating i-identify ano po yung T alpha over 2 natin. So, paano po gagawin yon? Kailangan natin ng, of course, t-table. So, to use our t-table, we need yung ating alpha over 2, then yung ating degree of freedom. Bali, ang confidence level po natin is 90%. Ibig sabihin, ang alpha po natin is 0.02. At ang alpha over 2 natin is 0.02 over 2. And that will give us 0.01. So, 0.01 ang alpha over 2, while ang ating degree of freedom naman po is n minus 1. That could be 10 minus 1 is equal to 9. Therefore, ang hahanapin natin sa t-table natin ay yung 0.01 at saka yung 9. At ang ating value is 8.821. So, yan po yung ating T alpha over 2, which is yung gagamitin po natin to compute for our margin of error. Yan. Okay. So, let's just substitute 2.821 times 20. Okay. All over square root of 10. The answer is, 2 decimal lang po tayo to 17.84. Ayan. To construct our 98% confidence interval, we have the upper limit, mean plus the margin of error, and the lower limit, the mean minus the margin of error. Ayan. So, ano po yung ating upper limit? We have 1,400 plus 17.84. And the lower limit is 1,400 minus 17.84. Of course, ang ating upper limit is 1,417.84. While yung ating lower limit naman po ay 1,382.16. Okay. So, ito na po yung ating 98% confidence interval estimate. And so, paano po natin i-interpret yan? Ibig sabihin lang po nan that we can say with 98% confidence that the interval between 1,382.16 pages and 1,417.84 contains our two population mean pages per cartridge based on the sample of 10 units of new printer model. So, ganun lang po siya. Okay, another example. A researcher wants to estimate the number of hours that 5-year-old children spend watching television. A sample of 50 5-year-old children was observed to have a mean viewing time of 3 hours. The population is normally distributed with a population standard deviation of 0.5 hours. Find the 95% confidence interval of the population mean. Ayan. So first, identify po natin kung ano yung mga available data natin. Okay. So what are the given? We have the sample size of 50. Ayan. Then, this sample has a mean viewing time of 3 hours. Ayan. And meron tayong available data na population standard deviation. 0.5 hours. So, based on our data, kita nyo, large sample size siya. So, therefore, we are going to use the z-value. Yeah. So, we need to find the value of z alpha over 2. Gagamitin lang natin yung table 1 natin. Hanapin ang 95% confidence level. Our z alpha over 2 is 1.96. So, pwede na po natin i-compute ang ating margin of error, which has the formula of z alpha over 2 times population standard deviation over square root of n. Ayan. So, substitute lang 1.96 times 0.5 all over square root of 50. Just get the two decimal places. We have 0.14. Ngayon, construct na po natin yung ating 95% confidence interval estimate. So, the range of values is between 3 plus 0.14 and 3 minus 0.14. Of course, ang upper limit po natin is 3.14. While ang ating lower limit is around 2.86. Ayan. So, ito na po yung ating interval. We can say now that with 95% confidence, we can say with 95% confidence that the interval between 2.86 hours and 3.14 hours contain the population mean based on 55-year-old children's daily viewing time. Example, the registrar of Zambales National High School wants to know the mean age of all Strand enrollees. He computed a mean age of 18 years and a standard deviation of 1.2 years on a random sample of 25 enrolling Strand, purportedly coming from a normal distributed population. With 99% confidence, find the interval estimate of the population mean. Yung unang step natin, kailangan natin i-identify lahat ng available data sa ating problem. Ayan. Bali, what are the given on the problem? Ayan. So, meron daw tayo random sample of 25. At based dun sa random sample na yon, ang mean age daw po niya ay 18 years. And ang kanyang standard deviation daw po is 1.2 years. Ayan. Standard deviation ng sample, kaya ganito po ang symbol. Ngayon, based on our available data, kung mapapansin nyo, less than 30 siya, tapos sample standard deviation. So, ibig sabihin, ang kailangan pong hanapin ay p-value. At para mahanap po yung p-value, kailangan po natin ang ating p-table. And using 99% confidence, we know na ang alpha po natin is 0.01. So, ibig sabihin, ang alpha over 2 po natin is 0.01 over 2. That is 0.005. And syempre, kailangan din po natin yung degree of freedom. At ang degree of freedom po natin is 25 minus 1, or that is 24. So, yung 0.005 at saka 24, ngayon, ang hahanapin natin sa ating t-table. 0.005, then 24. So, our t-value is 2.797. Yan. So, gagamitin po natin ito, of course, itong mga given na to compute for our margin of error. Ayan. At ang margin of error natin is t alpha over 2 times the sample standard deviation over the square root of n. Yan. Substitute lang po natin yung mga values. Ayan. We have 1.2 over square root of 25. Ayan. Using calculator, idiretso na po natin yan. Okay. So, kunin po yung 2 decimal digits natin. We have 0.67. Ayan. So, since 0.67 ang ating margin of error, ibig sabihin po, ayan. So, since ang interval estimate natin is mean plus the margin of error and minus margin of error, so, ibig sabihin, ang ating upper limit is 18 plus 0.67. At syempre, ang ating lower limit is 18 minus 0.67. Ibig sabihin, ang upper limit po natin is 18.67, while ang ating lower limit is, ilan ba? 17.33. Yan. Yan. So, ito na po yung ating interval estimate. So, ibig sabihin lang po na we can say with 99% confidence that the interval between 17.33 and 18.67 contains our true mean age of the population of yung strand enrollees based on the sample of 25 enrollee yung strand. So, bali ganun lang po kung paano natin kunin ang confidence interval estimate. So, bali, mag-iingat lang talaga kayo doon sa step na kung Z ba or T yung gagamitin natin. Ayan, so yun na po lahat ng ating examples. I hope may natutunan kayo at nasundan po ninyo lahat ng ating steps sa pagkuha ng confidence interval estimate. Ayan. So, thank you very much again. Make sure to hit the notification bell to get updated with our next lesson. Bye!